Let's take you outside right now for a live look in Tampa, Florida, where Helene is close to making landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast.
11 Alive Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb and meteorologist Melissa Nord are both tracking the system for you tonight, really second by second.
We really are, and we just got new information in at 11 o'clock. Melissa, looking at this storm, you can see here that landfall is almost there. They're not calling this official landfall yet at 11 o'clock, but this is as close as you can get to landfall without an official landfall because we have that center of circulation really close to the line. We've been talking earlier about this northern eye wall that has moved in over land, but it's not official till that center comes in, and we expect that at any moment.
Any moment, and where that center moving in, that eye wall, the winds are at their most extreme. So that's why they've issued an extreme wind warning. This only happens during landfalls of really significant major hurricanes. They've got one of those there, and that wind path is headed straight up into Georgia afterwards.
We just got that new track in. I'm going to show everybody that in just a moment. Melissa's checking on our local flood advisories and warnings. She'll have more on that in just a bit too. But I want to take you in closer there so you can see there is the coast, the storm moving inland. This is what we have been tracking for days. Before this storm even developed in the northwestern Caribbean, we were anticipating this moment. It is happening now, and now that it's moving into Florida, the next target is going to be Georgia, as this storm is going to keep moving up toward the north. We have tornado warnings in effect into parts of South Georgia, into southeast Georgia, and into South Carolina. Look at these tornado warnings lining up right there, just north of Savannah on the Georgia and South Carolina line. What happens is the pinwheel effect around this counterclockwise flow takes these bands over land, and that's where we sometimes get some of that rotation, and that's happening now. Also, look how from the south and east we're seeing this influence here of that moisture all feeding in, and we're all covered up at least with light rain, but we also have pockets of moderate to heavy rain, and that's going to be the case overnight, where you might have a little bit of light rain and then it gets heavy. It gets lighter, but during the overnight hours, we're going to see more of those pockets of persistent heavy rain that will be happening from time to time. Here's the latest that we just got in at 11 o'clock. With that storm, the center of it right there, about to make official landfall really any moment now. But look at these winds, 140 miles an hour. That is a Category 4 hurricane. It was upgraded to a Cat 4 around 620, 625 tonight with 130 mile an hour winds. Then we watched the winds increase to 140, but this will not make a Category 5. It won't make it up to 156 or above. Here is the track. We just got this new track in, and you can see it barreling through Georgia. Once it gets over to Atlanta, this is at 8 o'clock in the morning. It will be a tropical storm. This is showing winds at 65 miles an hour over Atlanta, and even some higher gusts possible here. And hurricane strength is 74 miles an hour or greater, or above 74 miles an hour. So this is going to be just about 10 degrees lower than hurricane strength once it moves into the Atlanta area. It'll keep weakening as it moves up toward the north there, and then kind of stall out as it just kind of hangs out over areas of Kentucky. So here's what we're watching with those hurricane warnings that are in effect. Of course, we've got a hurricane warning there along the coast where that landfall is taking place. But look how far north these hurricane warnings extend. It's not just North Florida. It goes into South Georgia. It goes into Central Georgia, and it includes counties really just to the south of Atlanta. This is the northern edge of that hurricane warning in Spalding, Pike, Lamar, Upson County, Butts County, and Jasper County. A hurricane warning. They are going to be having winds 75 miles an hour or greater overnight and in the morning on the south side. We'll have 65 mile an hour winds here. Then it goes down to maybe 50, 40 mile an hour winds up in North Georgia as that weakening process continues. We are also watching the threat for severe weather. I showed you those tornado warnings lining up on the Georgia and South Carolina line. We do think that most of the severe weather is going to be east of the track of the center there. So we showed you that track moving up like this through Atlanta. To the east of that, or the right-hand side, that is where we are going to see the more of a threat for severe storms, where there's a level 1 risk pretty much east of Atlanta, level 2 from Augusta southward, level 3 along the coastline where they are experiencing those tornado warnings right now. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the timeline for just the last few minutes of the evening hours here overnight and into the morning. We have been seeing this evening and continue to see rain continuing, some of that heavy. The wind isn't really bad out there yet. We're just seeing those breezes start to kick up. We're just kind of transitioning now to those stronger winds that are coming in. We've got winds now gusting up to about 25 miles an hour, but it's not a persistent wind. And then some standing water and flooding. We're seeing more and more reports of flooding coming in. For the overnight hours, this is when it gets more active. We have been on all night long, and we will be on with you for the overnight hours, because these overnight hours, while you are trying to sleep, is going to be the time when things are going to be a little more active out there with heavy rain and flooding. In the areas where there's the tropical storm, including the metro area, we're talking wind gusts of 50 to 70 miles an hour. Those counties on the south side where we have the hurricane warning, 80-mile-an-hour winds. We have that low tornado risk, again, over to the east of us. Then on Friday, mainly in the morning hours, is when it will also be very active. We're talking about heavy rain and flooding early in the morning. In the tropical storm warning, again, those winds 50 to 70, the hurricane warning 80 miles an hour. Then we have some light at the end of the tunnel where we see things ending by lunchtime. The rain's going to be out of here, but we're still going to be dealing with pretty breezy conditions here for those lunchtime hours. Let's head over to Melissa Nord right now. She has been tracking all the flood warnings. Do you have anything new out there, Melissa?
Yes, we actually have brand new video in of flooding at the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. This is in Buford, not far from North Druid Hills Road, just south of there. And our photojournalist John Samuels was out and captured video of that flooding. Let me know if we can go ahead and show that on the monitor. Here it is. So we're watching the water going over the roadway, and at this flood stage where it is right now, it's not far off the record for that gauge, which was from the September 2009 record floods we had here in North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So this is flooding of the North Fork of Peachtree Creek, and we're also seeing other river gauges here in Metro Atlanta that are reaching moderate flood stage and minor flood stage. I want to show you kind of what we're looking at moving forward, because the rain tonight could lead to more flooding like you're seeing there. So again, if you come across flooding like that tonight, if you've absolutely got to drive into work, let's say you work at a hospital or something, do not drive on a flooded roadway. Do not drive on a flooded roadway. It only takes a foot of swiftly moving water to sweep your small car away. 2 feet. If you got a big pickup truck, 2 feet is going to sweep the big pickup truck away if that water's moving swiftly enough. Here's we call it a hydrograph. It shows us where the water levels have been. And you see how the line, this blue line, skyrockets up this evening. The latest measurement we had, which was from about 10:15 tonight, was 18.38 feet. The record is only 18.67, so we're basically at the record flood stage there of that particular point of Peachtree Creek. And this is North Druid Hills Road right here. This is 85. This is Buford Highway. It's right in here where that creek passes near Buford Highway. So that is the flooding that's ongoing there. I also want to show you, if my maps will keep up with me, I was finally able to download the current river gauge levels, okay? This is another, it's called Peachtree Creek in Atlanta, that is now in moderate flood stage. Also want to point out here, as we get into, this is near Six Flags, okay? So this is out near Six Flags, near the kind of corner of Cobb County and Douglas County. We're starting to reach a few other moderate flood stages here in the metro area. And Chris, with all the rain continuing to push in, my maps are really struggling here, we're going to have a lot more flooding issues to come. Rainfall amounts so far have been 4 to 6 inches, some spots even over 7 inches. You see that right there near Pike and Lamar counties. And the rain just keeps coming. So we've got a lot more rain to come. Flash flood warning for Atlanta continues until 3:15 overnight tonight. And Chris, as we see the rain continuing, then the winds pick up, and that leads to a bigger power outage risk moving forward, especially as we get closer to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we've got all the flooding already out there now. The wind is going to be kicking up for the rest of the overnight hours. Take a look at our projections of these wind gusts for the overnight hours. This takes us to 4:30 in the morning, where you see that center of circulation pretty much right over the Eatonton area, and wrapping all around it, we've got those strong winds. 47-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Eatonton at 4:30. 5:30. Look at Athens at 54-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And then once we get to around 6:30 in the morning, 39-mile-an-hour wind gusts here in Atlanta. We'll see some wind gusts that'll be 40-plus miles an hour at times. 54-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Athens at 6:30. There you see some of those 46-mile-an-hour wind gusts. This is at about 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. Also in Marietta, Peachtree City, 37. It's just going to be really, really windy there. And with that saturated ground, we're going to see trees coming down, and that's what's going to cause the power outages. By later in the afternoon on Friday, we will see the rain moving out around lunchtime. The wind speeds start to come down a little bit, but it doesn't totally go away. We will still see breezy conditions. I want everybody to be aware of that, though, because on Friday, when you see the rain end, you're going to want to go out and start cutting up trees that have fallen. You're going to want to be picking up limbs. You're going to want to be outside cleaning things up a little bit. But just know it is still going to be rather gusty, and these winds could be strong enough to bring down additional trees in the saturated ground, as well as tree limbs possibly coming down. So you have to be careful when you get out to clean on Friday. That's why we are holding on to the weather impact alert throughout the entire day on Friday. Things will be getting better for the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, absolutely important to remember. Chris, Melissa, thank you both so much. We also have a team of reporters out covering the storm, so let's check in now with 11 Alive's Grace King.
Yeah, she is live tonight for us out of Brookhaven. And Grace, you're seeing some of the impacts already out there.
Absolutely. We're on Buford Highway in Brookhaven, the south portion where some of the road has started to wash away. Now, this isn't part of the normal road. Usually it's filled with these rocks because it's under construction and this is where the utilities go. But when the rain started, it moved in so quickly that it started washing away all of these rocks. If you look here, it's about a foot down where the road usually goes, covered with those rocks so people can get in and out. Back this way, you can see one of the apartment complexes. It's blocked off. A crews came and fixed the road earlier so that cars can't get in and out because some of them had flat tires. Some of them just crashed down and had to have tow trucks come pull them out because there's no safe way to really get in or out of this complex or any of the other ones for a couple blocks. We spoke with one resident who lives here, Daisy Perez. She told us she's worried about what she's going to do tomorrow.
My boyfriend came to visit me and he texted me he was outside and his tire got flat because of this. There's no way we can exit. And I work at a clinic. I have to be there tomorrow, so I don't know how I'm going to do it.
And this isn't the only problem we've seen tonight. We've gone to a couple different places in metro Atlanta, like the northeast corner of Chastain Park. The road over there, they said part of the pipes underneath the road has started to give out, maybe because of the rain before Helene, but that has caused enough problems that they closed that for safety. We've seen water just filling up on the roads in metro Atlanta, in some cases 6 inches, piling up, making it unsafe and dangerous to drive in. So if you're out there on these roads, be sure to be careful and watch for sections like this where some of those temporary fixes might have already washed away. Live in Brookhaven, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
All right, Grace, and we do have much more rain on the way. Thank you so much. Well, tonight, DeKalb County is urging residents to stay off the roads to allow emergency vehicles to safely and quickly respond to the effects of the storm tonight. The county says it has now activated its Emergency Operations Center. DeKalb County schools, libraries, businesses, and municipalities will all be closed tomorrow. Well, right now, about an hour south of Grace in Brookhaven, Spalding County Emergency Management, they are now, their fire in chief, Glenn Polk, is joining us right now on Zoom.
Mr. Polk, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us tonight. What kind of impacts are y'all already seeing there?
Right now, we've just had a lot of excessive rainfall that's causing some flooding issues on our secondary streams and ponds. So we got our partners together in our Emergency Operations Center, and we're addressing roadways right now, anticipating the winds coming later on tonight.
We're also understanding that you all have closed a number of roads already, trying to get things better. What resources do you have in place to respond, as we know that the worst of the storm has yet to come?
That's right. Yeah, we have great partners between the City of Griffin and Spalding County, and our public works officials are working hard with us in our Emergency Operations Center to coordinate with any efforts we need to, if we need to close off roads or redirect with the help of our law enforcement. So great teamwork going on right here.
as our meteorologists have been saying, we are anticipating the worst of the effects of this storm to come to us overnight. Do you have any messages or words or information that you want to pass along to families in Spalding County tonight?
Absolutely. Yeah. Please do not get out unless you have to. And if you run across any issues that you need assistance, please don't hesitate to call 911 and let us, give us that extra minute to get out and assist you. And also sign up for any early notifications so you have that extra time that you may need to address any issues that may be in your neighborhood. So time is always of the essence.
Let me ask you about all of you. What precautions are you all taking to make sure that the first responders and everyone that's working to be a part of this response effort are making sure that they stay safe as well?
Absolutely. We've had all our guys and personnel working hard to have everything's ready to go, all the equipment. We've let them have some downtime, anticipating a long night. And we've been helping them. We have a team that actually go out and help check on families should they have any issues, to give them peace of mind so they can keep on working hard for our community.
I'm sure they appreciate that, and we certainly appreciate the work that all of you all are doing across our region tonight during this storm. Glenn Pope with Spalding County, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all for the opportunity. All
right, we are continuing to check in with our reporters who are all across the metro area and really across Georgia as we continue to see the effects of the storm. I know 11 Alive's Joe Ripley is one of our reporters who's been out as well today.
Yeah, he is in Griffin, in Spalding County, which we were just talking about. Joe, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so photojournalist Anthony Shepard and I have been traversing the roads across Spalding County all evening long for hours now, and we just noticed the rain start to pick up, the winds especially starting to pick up here. Right now we're on the North Expressway here in Spalding County, heading towards the city of Griffin, and you can see not a lot of activity going on the roads here, and that's a good thing because we can quickly notice a lot of the water pooling up as we go, especially on back roads in rural communities and neighborhoods. We're starting to see that water pool up, especially if you live near a body of water, a creek, stream, a river, anything like that. The water will quickly overflow and it will move swiftly once it does get out into the roadway. So if you don't have to get out and about tonight, please stay home, stay off the roads, because this is something that is extremely dangerous. It can pose a serious risk to you and possibly others who may be out and about on the roads here. We did speak earlier with Spalding County's manager. His name is Steve Ledbetter. He was saying that crews have already responded tonight to so many calls of downed trees or maybe flooded roadways. They have done their best to try and communicate with each other, try to get there as quickly as possible to try and either close those roads off or clean up those trees and debris that remain lying in the roadway. They invested a lot of money to try and upgrade their communication systems at their Emergency Operations Center, working with all different types of agencies across the county of Spalding County, across the city of Griffin, to try and make it easier for crews to get out and respond to those danger spots. Of course, he also stressed the importance of people staying at home, sheltering in place, especially as Helene makes its way further into the state of Georgia. Those winds are going to get even worse. The rain is going to get even worse. So you think conditions are bad now. This area knows a thing or two about severe weather. They had those tornadoes back in 2023, bracing now for even more severe weather headed their way.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for that update. We want to get you to some breaking news now out of South Georgia. 2 people have died after a possible tornado that hit the city of Alamo. This is just to the southeast of Warner Robins in central Georgia. The sheriff says the possible tornado is a result of Hurricane Helene, and that is really why we are just encouraging everyone to take every single precaution that they can tonight.
Right now, we want to check in with 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido.
She is live for us this evening in Valdosta. And Angelina, we know that you will be among some of the first to see some of the conditions from Hurricane Helene.
And those conditions continuing to deteriorate. Just about 20 minutes ago, we got an extreme wind warning sent to our phones as an emergency alert, letting us know that it was not going to be safe for anybody to be out on the roads or be outside because of the hurricane force winds that they are expecting. Some of those winds coming in right now, the rain also starting to increase as well. We have literally seen sheets and sheets of rain continue to pound the Valdosta area, and this is really what they were expecting. This area not necessarily prone to flooding, but they are prone to power lines being knocked down because of the winds. I will tell you, just a few hours ago, we heard a few pops far enough away from us, and we are safe where we are. But that was either a power line coming down or transformer that blew, and that is what emergency management here tells me that they're concerned about. Take a listen to what they said a few hours ago.
Catastrophic, severe wind damage all across the county, widespread power outages for several days, could be weeks. So that's our two main concerns. Our residents are really nervous, but we are resilient. And so we are praying that we make it through this storm with everyone staying safe and their homes being safe. And we're just really praying that Hurricane Helene spares our community.
Now, the one thing that they wanted to stress is that this community is extremely resilient. And they're talking about Lowndes County just in general. They had 3 different storms hit this area since last August. Idalia was the very first one. That one caused some pretty significant damage, and that is similar to some of the damage that they're expecting with a Category 2 storm with Hurricane Helene coming through this area as well. The conditions are going to continue to deteriorate here in Valdosta. We do have a curfew in place from 8 p.m. until the sun rises. Power crews are in place. They will head out the door right at 6 a.m. trying to get power back online here in Valdosta. We're live in Valdosta. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
All right, Angelina, thank you so much. Right now we are taking a live look at power outages across Metro Atlanta. This is the Georgia power outage map. 11 Alive's Zach Merchant is in studio tonight taking a closer look at some of our hardest hit areas.
Well, boy, you heard the wind whipping in Angelina's live shot there. We know that this storm and the wind and the rain, it is coming our way. But let's start with some good news, and let's look at the statewide map. This is a map of all of Georgia Power's customers and their outages across the state. Green is good, red is bad. And you look at this map, that is a lot of green, and that's really good news right now. Let's put some numbers on it. Stay with me here. Take a look right here. There are about 500 outages across the state and about 26,000 customers affected. I want to jump back in front of the light here if we can, and let's go deep into our core metro counties here. Let's zoom in a little bit. If the touch screen's going to work with me, yes, it is. So our biggest county that's feeling the biggest impacts of the outages right now, right here in blue. It's going to be DeKalb County, but still roughly 340,000 customers are Georgia Power customers in DeKalb. Only about 9,000 are out of power right now. That's a good sign. We know that this probably isn't going to stay like this, but for now, that means most folks in DeKalb County, which is our hardest hit area in terms of power outages, most folks there still have their power. Let's take a look over here. We're in Fulton County now. You see about 420,000 Georgia Power customers in Fulton County. It's one of our biggest counties. We know there are a lot of people there, a lot of Georgia Power customers. But good news, only about 2,600 folks there are out of power right now. We take a look now a little bit out to our east here. We see some other counties in yellow. That means they're tipping towards more of a 500 to 5,000 folks who are out of power, but still those numbers are really low. We know that this isn't going to stay like this. So take this opportunity right now. Get the chargers out, charge the electronics you need, your flashlights, your cell phones, anything you think you might need for the next however many hours or maybe even longer, because if that power hits, if the power outage comes and you haven't charged it, you're going to regret it. You want that stuff. You want it to be accessible. We're going to be tracking this all night long, guys.
All right, we know you will. Zach Merchant, thanks so much. And if you are in the dark tonight, Georgia Power says it has 10,000 employees ready to respond to power problems and communicating with customers.
CEO Kim Green telling us it could take days, but crews are working around the clock to best get power back on quickly and safely.
Unfortunately, it may be multiple days, but I want to make sure that everybody hears me, that our company and our resources are committed to getting the power back on quickly and safely.
All right, so a reminder tonight, if you see a down power line, do not go near it. Georgia Power says to always assume down power lines are live and life-threatening. You should always call 911 to have the line barricaded so no one else is hurt either. Well, tonight, as we brace for the strongest impacts from Helene, Fulton County has signed a declaration of emergency.
This is a new photo from Atlanta Fulton County's Emergency Management Agency. You can see Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts there signing the declaration, and now enables Fulton County to be eligible for additional resources from the state and federal governments.
Well, tonight we know Children's Hospital of Atlanta is now under a code white status. That's in case of the bad weather that we are all expecting. The hospital says all elective surgeries for tomorrow are canceled. Also, an important note to those in Atlanta whose trash pickup day is tomorrow, that service has also been suspended. The city is asking you to not put your trash, recycling, or yard debris bins out on the curb and said pickup day will be Saturday, weather permitting. We're getting you back to Chris Holcomb in just a moment. Now, Chris, are you ready with the latest on Helene? I understand you have some breaking news here.
We do have a breaking update just in from the National Hurricane Center. This is what we've been waiting on all night long. We now have official landfall. Helene made landfall just a few moments ago officially. They're about just a little bit to the west of Perry, Florida. And you can see that center of the circulation now is continuing to move over the land right now. Now that it's made that landfall, the next focus is going to be it's moving into Georgia, and we're breaking down those impacts as conditions are only going to worsen during the overnight hours. Stay with us. We'll have much more on this breaking development and that latest forecast track coming up next. We left you with that breaking news a moment ago about official landfall taking place right now. It just happened over the past few minutes along that Big Bend region. Another bit of new breaking news right now is we have a brand new flash flood warning that's in effect. We had been telling you about this one, this green polygon that you see right here that covers multiple counties that goes from North Fulton County, South Forsyth County, Gwinnett, DeKalb, Fulton, on down to the south into parts of Clayton County, Fayette County, Spalding, Pike, Lamar, Upson County, a large area of a flash flood warning. Now, a new flash flood warning has been issued to the west of us, where you can see it going down to areas of Coweta County, South Fulton, Douglas, Paulding County, Cobb County, also into Bartow County, Cherokee County, going up into areas of Pickens County, and even into Gilmer County and parts of Gordon County. All of those counties are included in a new flash flood warning. We're going to see more flash flood warnings happening overnight. Take a look at these bands of rain that are pushing through our area, where you see the yellows and oranges indicating the moderate and heavy rain, where you see the reds in there. That's even heavier rain that's continuing to move on through. And you can see those bands just keep moving in, and that is going to be the case for the rest of the overnight hours. There's another one here on the east side from Henry County, southeast of us, pushing up into parts of DeKalb County and Gwinnett County, and we're not finished with it yet. Doppler radar can estimate how much rain has fallen, and look at this swath here from North Fulton through DeKalb County, parts of central Fulton County, down to Clayton, Henry County, down towards Spalding County. Look at the Doppler radar estimates just over the past 24 hours here. 4+ inches of rain down in parts of Henry County and southern areas of Clayton County. 3 inches here in parts of Clayton, DeKalb County, 3.5. We've got almost 3 up in Fulton County, and these totals are only going to get higher during the overnight hours when Helene then moves through Georgia. So here's what we're watching. That official landfall right there just to the west of Perry, Florida is where we had that landfall there. And then that's moving up toward the north. To the right side of that, we do have these tornado warnings that are in effect. This one just outside of our viewing area, we're going to be watching on the east side any of those bands coming in for some possible tornado warnings through those overnight hours. That's why we have been on with you all night. That's why we're going to be on with you for the rest of the overnight hours as well. Stay with us. We'll keep monitoring these latest developments that we have with these new flood warnings and the landfall. The next target for Helene is going to be Georgia, and that'll be coming soon. Let's go to Cody right now, Cody Alcorn up in Athens, Georgia, where you have been seeing the rain that's kind of kicking up a little bit more. Cody, you're on the more active side of this system. How are folks reacting there, and what are you seeing in the Athens area?
Well, of course, we are in a college town. UGA is out today and tomorrow. Kids out here actually enjoying, I would say, probably a few hurricane parties at some of the local bars. It is as usual on a Thursday night here, but hopefully these college students will be taking this thing more seriously, as we do expect these winds to be picking up later this evening when most of them are going home. But I believe a lot of them hopefully are going to be walking back to their areas. But again, just a warning, these kids have been going for a while, so just want to warn you guys on that. We are live on the air right now, so you guys might want to keep walking. But again, we're going to send it back to you guys. For now, we'll come back out here and check on you, but I can tell you the wind is picking up a little bit up here and the rain as well. So I will be staying here in Athens and monitoring these conditions throughout the evening.
All right, Cody, thank you so much. Well, this just in, a shelter is now open in Newton County. The shelter is located at Cousins Middle School on Geiger Street and Covington. Again, at Cousins Middle School on Geiger Street and Covington, in case anyone needs shelter in Newton County.
Right now, let's take you to some new video in tonight shared by hurricane hunters of Helene as it is approaching Florida. This is brand new video being shared with us.
Well, this video comes from Tampa, Florida today that you're looking at now. A lot of you may have seen this one online. A lot of folks talking about it. This is where high winds and storm surge close the Howard Franklin Bridge. You can see those waves going over the side of the bridge there, crashing onto it. And still, cars are moving across. The Florida Highway Patrol did close the bridge. That was shortly before 4 o'clock. Many bridges in Tampa and other parts of Florida closed tonight. But again, as you see these conditions, when we begin to see more and more of the effects of Helene here, don't forget, turn around, don't drown. If you see floodwaters, any of that water coming into the roadway, that is not where you want to go.
Surprised they didn't close that earlier.
I know,
just considering
a lot of folks saying that.
The conditions. All right, this is also some video tonight from Cedar Key, Florida. The storm surge and flooding we have seen there. As I mentioned earlier, this is a small community right there, kind of jets out into the Gulf of Mexico. You can see the flooding is pretty intense there. In fact, that area is one of the areas that people really left. I understand from some reporting, only about 50 people in that entire town decided to stick around. As you can see, the debris, the flooding, and all those tree limbs down as well. As I mentioned, we do have reporters spread across the area covering the storm tonight. We want to check back in with 11 Alive's Grace King.
She is live for us tonight in Brookhaven along Buford Highway. And Grace, some people there are already concerned about how they're going to operate tomorrow because of the effects of Helene already.
Right. You know, we've talked about flooding, we've talked about trees down, but there are a couple different problems that we've seen here. Along here in Buford Highway, you can see that this is where the utility construction typically is. It's covered with gravel so that cars can go back and forth. But because of the rain that's been raining all day, it started to wash away, leaving about a foot down here. Cars can't get through. Some people told us they have flat tires. They told us that they damaged their cars so badly tow trucks had to come pull them out. And now you can see that there are cones and caution tape blocking a couple blocks of Buford Highway so people can't get in or out of their apartment complexes. They're worried about how to get places tomorrow. Some of them work at clinics or hospitals. They don't know how they're going to get anywhere. Live in Buford Highway, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
All right, Grace, thank you so much.
All right, we are continuing to see reports of flooding all across the area. We've heard of reporting in Six Flags area, also Sandy Springs. You just posted some information about that as well.
Yeah, there's really a lot of this that we are continuing to see, and our meteorologists have been telling us it's only going to get worse as we go through the overnight hours. Let's get you back to Chris.
We're going to see more flood warnings. We're going to see more wind damage. We're going to see trees down. We're going to see power outages. That is just the reality of this system and what's going to be happening for the overnight hours. It has already been very active with rain. We've already had flooding. The wind hasn't started kicking up that much yet. It's starting to get a little breezy, but it is only going to get worse during the overnight hours. Here's a look at what we're watching. We mentioned earlier a very large flash flood warning here that covers numerous counties in Atlanta, and now additional counties to the west of us are included, and also down to the south as well. So really all of us need to be prepared for that flooding possible during these overnight hours as we see these bands of rain moving in. in. At least the light rain has been persistent. Then you'll have a band of moderate to heavy rain. It'll turn light again. Then another band moves in, and that's really going to be the process for the rest of the overnight hours. We have another one of those bands of heavy rain coming from Henry County, Rockdale County, Gwinnett County, into areas of DeKalb County. This is about to close in on the city out there right now. I want to take you down just outside of our viewing area, but many of you are familiar. Here's Eatonton. Milledgeville is in the Macon viewing area, but over here from Wrightsville to Sandersville, there is a tornado warning there. We think this will fall apart before it moves up closer to Putnam County. I don't think it would hold together, but we are going to keep watching this. And if it does, we will let you know about that if any additional tornado warnings are issued or sent up closer to our area. Here is a look right now at what we're watching with Helene and that center of circulation. We told you earlier, breaking news, that the landfall has happened, and you can see the evidence of that right now with the center of that circulation moving in over land now. We expect it to start weakening a little bit over land, but the deal is it's moving so fast, the forward motion at about 20 plus miles an hour. It's still going to be a Cat 2 moving into parts of southwest Georgia. So there's that center of circulation about to cross over I-10. Here's Tallahassee here. There's St. Mark's. It moved in just to the west, the official landfall, just to the west of Perry, Georgia, Florida. And now it's about to cross over I-10, then move toward Valdosta. I know Angelina Salcedo is in Valdosta right now. They're about to get rocked with a lot of wind and rain there, and then continuing to move up toward the north, and then we'll see that move through our area. Melissa, I just saw you scurrying over there. Just got some new information in.
Your phone might have gone off. You might have heard phones going off here in our studio while Chris was talking. They have upped the flash flood warning for Atlanta and Fulton County, Eastern Cobb County, DeKalb County, Clayton County, and they have these thresholds as the flooding gets worse. And when the flooding gets worse, they can issue these flood warnings that will alert your phone if you've turned on the wireless emergency alert. So what the National Weather Service is saying, that the flood warning that is ongoing for those counties, the flooding is going to get a lot worse. So that's why they're saying life-threatening flash flooding, heavy rain producing flash flooding is going to be going on. This includes Atlanta, Marietta, Decatur, Jonesboro, Peachtree Cornels, City of South Fulton, Sandy Springs. And a lot of that flooding is not just going to be streets, but it's creeks and rivers. I want to show you video coming in from our 11 Alive photojournalist, John Samuels. And he has been out. There we go. This is a live look, okay? This is the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. This is not far from Buford Highway and North Druid Hills Road. And you notice here, you see that center line at the bottom? That is actually a road that is completely, and if you guys can get in my ear, remind me which road it was. Peachtree. This is Peachtree Road? Peachtree Creek. Oh, it's Peachtree Creek. Okay. And it's covered up by water. So this is a flash flooding scenario where these smaller creeks and rivers in Atlanta can't take enough water. They're taking in water faster than it can go down the riverway. There we go, Woodward Way along Peachtree Creek. So the flooding at the flood stage that it's at right now, it's in major flood stage. It's nearing the all-time record, which was from the September 2009 floods. And at this point, the water starts going into the backyards of homes. And if the water keeps rising more than that, we get to unprecedented levels. So that's a live look at the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. You can see there is a spotlight, so you can see a little bit better. If you guys can talk to me again, I think they're trying to give me more information. Oh, we're going to go to break next. Okay, so that's flooding ongoing right now. If your phone went off, you're in a flash flood warning, and we've got more coverage coming up right after this.
Welcome back. It is now 11:42. Let's check back in with 11 Alive's Angelina Salcedo.
She is live tonight in Valdosta. And Angelina, we can just see that rain and those winds whipping you around down there.
Definitely continuing to increase for sure. And I was listening to Chris, and I was also listening to Melissa, and Chris was saying that we were pretty close to being rocked here, and that has been abundantly clear as the wind gusts continue to increase. Now, while we're doing this live shot, you may see behind me that the sky starts to light up. You might see some colors behind me. Those are the transformers that have been blowing as the winds from Hurricane Helene continue to pick up. Now, Tyson is my photographer. If you walk with me this way, we're going to pan you this way so that you can see that this neighborhood right here is pitch black. They had light just a little bit ago, but now this has virtually no light there, and that is what I was talking about. If you started to see the sky lighting up, those are the transformers in the county that are starting to blow. I looked up power outages in this area and in this county. So far, 10,000 people have been affected, but those numbers are going to continue to go up as the hurricane force winds continue to come through here. And from what I understand, the storm, or the eye of the storm, has not even come close to this area, so we know that that's going to be getting worse. We're, of course, making sure that we stay safe, away from the power lines, away from trees, away from anything that could be flying in our direction. And we just lost power right now. So you can tell it dramatically changed. And this is exactly why they have been telling people to stay off of the roads. We, of course, are going to make sure that we assess the situation out here and, of course, stay safe while we bring you the information here from Valdosta. We're live in Valdosta. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
All right, Angelina, we see that power flickering out there. We see that rain coming and sideways. Y'all stay safe out there. Well, speaking of power, right now we are taking a live look at power outages across Metro Atlanta. This is Georgia Power's outage map.
Let's check in with 11 Alive's Zach Merchant here in studio tonight. Zach, you have been tracking the outages county by county. What are we seeing right now?
Well, this map sort of tells the story of the storm in its own way, too. And I actually want to start at a statewide look here. If you've just tuned in right now, pretty self-explanatory. Green is good on this map. Red is bad. Blue is not so good either. If you see a county in blue, it means they're between 5,000 and 15,000 Georgia Power customers who are out of power right now. And let's actually start where we just saw Angelina. We're going to zoom into South Georgia here. If the touchscreen stays with us, there we go. This is Valdosta. We're in Lowndes County. About 6,500 customers, 6,500 Georgia Power customers there who are out of power. Now let's zoom back out and then let's go in to the metro here, because this is another area we're starting to see these numbers of power outages starting to climb up. They're still pretty low, all things considered, but the numbers are starting to rise. Let's take a look right here. We see DeKalb County, almost 10,000 folks in DeKalb are now out of power. We take a look right across the border now. We're in Fulton County. About 3,200 customers in Fulton County are out of power at this moment. We expect these numbers to rise, but still, most Georgians have power. Most Georgia Power customers have power. And to put it in perspective, let's look at the statewide numbers here. I'm just watching because I want to make sure I stay on screen here. And we just saw this tally go up just as we hit this button. If you can see these figures here, right now across Georgia, about 720 active outages inside the Georgia Power system. Roughly 50,000 Georgia Power customers are now out of power. When we started looking at this map at about 10:40 this evening, about an hour ago, there were only about 20,000 customers with outages. So this number is going up. It's going up fast. But still, 2.7 million Georgia Power customers in the state. The vast majority still have power. Take advantage of that power while you still have it. Charge everything you need. You don't know how long this power is going to last tonight.
Zach Merchant, we'll check back with you shortly. Thanks so much. And tonight, as we brace for the strongest impacts from Helene, Fulton County has declared a declaration of emergency. You're taking a look right now at some of the effects. This is on Ivy Mill Way in Roswell.
Yeah, that tree down, just like we are hearing so many other reports across our area. And we are anticipating additional trees to come down when these winds continue to pick up. And that ground is already so saturated. So we will, of course, continue to follow those outages and the other damages and remnants left behind from Helene as we do. All right, so we also want to take you now to some other images. Is that correct? Yeah, this one is a photo from Atlanta Fulton County Emergency Management Agency. And you can see there Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts signing the declaration that you just heard Jonathan mention a short time ago. This will enable Fulton County to be eligible for additional resources from both the state and federal government.
And we know Cobb County has done the same, several local counties adding that extra support. And tonight we also know Children's Hospital of Atlanta is now under what's considered a code white status. That's in case of the inclement weather that we are already seeing. The hospital says all elective surgeries for tomorrow have been canceled. Also, this important note to those in Atlanta who have trash pickup set for tomorrow. That service has now been suspended. The city is asking you not to put out your trash, recycling, or yard debris bins on the curb. Instead, they say pickup day will be Saturday, weather permitting. We, of course, are going to continue to follow that. Any other changes that come from the different counties.
All right, so we want to get you back now to our chief meteorologist, meteorologist Chris Holcomb standing by for us. But before we get to you, Chris, this is another look down in Key West, Florida, and this shot just keeps getting worse and worse as we continue to follow and track Helene now that it has made landfall. We'll get you to our chief meteorologist Chris Holcomb and Melissa Nord in just a few moments. We'll be right back.
With our chief meteorologist, Chris Holcomb. And Chris, this is that time we are getting closer to, our area really feeling the greater impacts of this storm.
And that's what we've been talking about all night, talking about the later we get into these nighttime hours and into the overnight. Right now, we're just before midnight, and things are only getting worse out there. We're seeing the rain get heavier. We're going to see the winds that are going to be picking up even more. And Francine just made landfall within just after 11 o'clock. And so now it's going to travel through Georgia. And as it gets closer to us, again, early tomorrow morning, that's going to be the time frame, let's say between 3 a.m. and 9 a.m., when we're going to be feeling the most impactful part of this storm with the even heavier rain and all the wind moving through. Take a look at these bands of rain that are pushing through. As I put this into motion, you can see the flow there of these bands coming from the south and east with that moderate to heavy rain. And we just keep these bands rolling through Atlanta over areas that have already picked up a lot of rain. I know that you can see it may be hard to see these polygons here, but that's where we have numerous counties. Almost all of us here inside the city, south of the city, and west of the city are included in a flash flood warning right now, as we're seeing many low-lying areas experiencing some flash flooding. We're keeping an eye on a lot of those creeks and streams. We're starting to see those rise even more with these bands of heavy rain moving in. It just comes down really hard, collects on those low-lying areas, and that's where we're seeing flooding. And this is just the beginning. We're going to see more of this overnight as this rain gets heavier and heavier. Take a look at this red color. Our Doppler radar can estimate how much rain has fallen here. And take a look at the red and even some of the oranges beginning to show up now in Henry County. That's where we're talking about 4+ inches of rain there, 3 inches of rain over in parts of Clayton County, DeKalb County, some areas seeing 3.5 already. And Francine isn't even here, or Helene isn't even here yet. We'll keep seeing that rain get heavier and heavier and those rainfall amounts going up even more. Here's what we're watching with the storm. We're in Atlanta here. You can see the flow around this spreading in more of that rain. Here is the storm inland right now. It made that landfall just after 11 o'clock, the official landfall. But look how fast it is moving here up to the north. In just a little bit, this center of the circulation is going to cross over the Georgia-Florida line and start moving through Georgia very quickly. We told you about Angelina Salcido in Valdosta right about here. You were seeing those conditions worsen for her. We're going to get back to her in a little bit as this, the northern part of that center of circulation will be moving in. That's going to be the strongest part of the storm there. If it's safe, we'll go back to them in just a little bit as it gets closer to the Valdosta area. So here you see Valdosta, where she is. There's that northern part of the eye, really, what's left of the eye of that center of circulation. That's going to be moving in over Valdosta there along 75 in just a little bit. So we'll try to get back to her if it is safe for her to report out of that. Then the storm continues to move up toward the north, toward Macon, and then toward the Atlanta area. We do have the tornado watches in effect for northern Florida, South Georgia, southeast areas of Georgia, and into South Carolina. At this point, no tornado warnings in effect. We told you about that one over to the east of Milledgeville earlier. That expired. We haven't seen any other tornado warnings developing there with that. It's just watching these bands of rain moving in. This is a live view right now at Atlanta Motor Speedway over in Henry County. Again, the heavy rain there, they've got the lights on, but the visibility is still reduced by all of that rain that's moving through. Here's the storm inland now, a Cat 4. Now that it's over land, it is going to start weakening a little bit. But as that weakening process happens, it still has a very fast forward speed. So it remains a Category 2 hurricane in South Georgia, then a Cat 1 in middle Georgia, even up toward areas of Pike, Lamar County, Spalding County. Still hurricane force winds with that. Tropical storm over Atlanta. This has it right on top of us Friday morning at 8 o'clock with winds of 65 miles an hour. That's according to the track from the National Hurricane Center. Then it keeps moving up toward the north as it weakens somewhat here. But just look at that. The state, pretty much all areas experiencing that track as it moves on through. And remember what we were talking about earlier, this cone is not showing the areas that are feeling the impacts. This cone is the cone of uncertainty, talking about where that center of circulation could be. It could drift here, it could drift there within that cone, but we are seeing impacts outside of that cone. I don't want you to look at this and think, oh, West Georgia and East Georgia are fine. That is not the case. All of us are going to be feeling the impacts from this system tonight. Another look at these tropical alerts that we have here. I don't know why that's count. We'll need to check on that. That might be a mistake there, just north of Athens, but these warnings are down to the south in areas of Spalding County, Butts County, Jasper County, that line down to the south where we have the hurricane warning in effect. The rest of us are in this tropical storm warning. Melissa, I don't know if I'm stealing this map from you, but I want to go over these power outages. I'm not sure if you're doing this right now or not when I pitch to you, but this is the outlook for the risk for power outages. The darker red color you see here is where we're going to see widespread power outages. In the orange, moderate power outages. We really are expecting a lot of them as this wind and rain will be kicking up even more, bringing down trees, and that's going to cause the power outages in the area, Melissa.
Yeah. And Chris, before we even get to the power outages, right now we have some flooding that is ongoing in different water tributaries across the metro. These photos came in to us from an 11 Alive viewer who's in Brookhaven along North Peachtree Creek. We've been talking about North Peachtree Creek for the last 2 hours. This thing went into a flash flood, reached very close to record stage. And this is a look into their backyard. Okay, right along Victor Road. You see this fence right here? This is a fence that is about 6 feet tall. So that gives you a reference. We're looking at 3 to 4 feet, I would say, in their backyard of floodwaters from North Peachtree Creek. So significant flooding is ongoing in Brookhaven right now. We showed you earlier the live image of the water covering over the road, and this is a flash flood. These creeks, these smaller creeks, they're going to get hit first. Then all that water eventually heads into the larger waters, the larger tributaries like the Chattahoochee, and we deal with bigger river flooding as we get into late tomorrow and Saturday. Looks like this one's finally crested. So the latest was about 18.42, just shy of the record from the September 2009 floods, and it looks like it's flattening out a bit. What does that mean? It means the water's going from Brookhaven, flowing further down Peachtree Creek into kind of central and western Atlanta. So we still have our flash flood warnings ongoing. If your phone went off about 20 minutes ago, that's because this warning right here, which is from Roswell down through Sandy Springs, which, by the way, there are now evacuations ongoing in Sandy Springs off of, I think it was Nancy Creek, according to Atlanta Fulton County Emergency Management. There are evacuations ongoing there as well. And then down to the south into Clayton County near Forest Park. This includes kind of close to the Yellow River as well. We've got that flash flood warning with the tag being considerable, because we're starting to see significant flooding. So that's why your phone would have gone off. Rain continues to pour in. As Chris was pointing out, we have a lot of areas here in the metro now with more of that moderate to heavy rain rates, in particular right on top of Atlanta. So Atlanta up to Roswell, east over into Decatur, and then down south into McDonough. And this is lifting westward. So Cobb County, Douglas, I know you've already been seeing some heavy rain. The rain, I mean, it's really, Chris, since landfall, it's picking up in intensity here in a big way in the last, I would say, 30 minutes to an hour. So flooding going to be ongoing tonight. And then the winds pick up as we get past 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And that's when we start to see the power outage numbers really going up.
And that's the danger that we're talking about right now. This is a recipe for those widespread power outages. And you mentioned the rain really picking up, and this is just going to be even more and more persistent during those overnight hours. I want to take you back down here to the landfall. Look how quickly this is moving in over Florida, moving over I-10 right now, about to move over the line into Georgia. Here's Valdosta right up here. I want to zoom in a little bit tighter because I want to take you to Valdosta. That's where our Angelina Salcido is right now. There's Valdosta. Look what is about to move in to Valdosta right now. This is that northern part of the eye wall that's going to have the most intense part of the storm with it, and that's about to bear down on Angelina Salcido. Let's go to her now live. Angelina, number one, I want you guys to be careful, be safe, but I just wanted to come to you and let you know, number one, this is about to hit you really hard, and to see if you're seeing any indications of that coming right now.
Right now, actually, the wind gusts haven't been as heavy, but that might change given the fact that it is starting to make it to our way right now. Again, the power is still kind of flickering on and off. I know the last live shot that we had done, we actually lost power. The winds are starting to pick up. Pause for a little bit. We're feeling okay, and we're still feeling safe. But definitely the wind gusts still starting to pick up here as the dirty side of the storm makes its way here. The dirty side of the storm, Chris, which I know that you guys are familiar with, is the most dangerous side of the storm because of how violent those wind gusts can be. The trees here that are along these power lines have been whipping throughout. Another transformer just blew kind of in the distance, and that's going to be something that's going to be consistent as the night continues on and as we go into the later hours and as the storm finally makes its way here to Valdosta and Lowndes County. When we talked to emergency management earlier today, they were saying that they were just really praying that this community took the warnings for them to prepare, make sure that they have everything that they need in their homes seriously. But they do think that the residents that live in this area did because they have been through several different storms. We spoke to people at the shelters. They evacuated to the shelters today because they felt like that was the best thing for them to do so that they wouldn't be stuck in their home during these conditions. And I can tell you that the police have also told me that that is the smartest thing for people to do, especially if they live in mobile homes or if they live in homes that are surrounded by a lot of vegetation, which a lot of the homes that are down these roads here do have a lot of vegetation, and those are often where we see a lot of homes affected and a lot of power lines coming down as well. We spoke to officers that were out on the roads. Now, they were out on the roads probably about like an hour ago. They were just checking to make sure that people were not out on the roads and that they were being safe. Now they're pretty much hunkering down, and that's why they have that curfew in place in Valdosta from 8 p.m. until sunrise tomorrow to kind of make sure that this storm passes through, does whatever it is that it's going to do when it comes to damage, and then tomorrow they're going to assess it, make sure that they respond quickly and that they check to make sure that people are doing okay. We're live tonight in Valdosta. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.